now she is gone.
The Midnight Crimes is a story-driven detective game where you play as Benjamin Layton, a pretty messed up former detective who lost his family 5 years ago in a murder that was never really solved. He's basically drinking his life away until someone asks for his help finding a missing kid. The game has this art style that you see in the Borderlands games or also the Walking Dead Telltale games, and I think it perfectly fits the game's dark setting and tone. The atmosphere in this is really dark but also very strong. This is a game where you explore and interact by pointing and clicking. The demo starts in Ben's apartment, where he's clearly having a rough morning. To get started, you can look at old photos, grab his gun, smoke at the window, that kind of first interactions. This game tracks a few key stats. Firstly, your stress level, which you can reduce by doing things like smoking and petting cats. Then your reputation in the city, and also how well you can talk your way through situations. You will need to manage these as you investigate. The game does actually allow you to adopt your own pet as well, which is a nice touch for an otherwise very dark game. There is a day-night cycle and also specific times when you can investigate certain leads. A decent chunk of your gameplay happens at your detective board, which is used to pin evidence and try to make connections between clues. You can cut strings between pieces of evidence to explore different theories. The city itself is semi-open. You can explore different areas like pubs, streets, and some pretty sketchy alleys where you actually might get robbed if your reputation is low. The writing so far seems pretty mature. It deals with heavy themes like murder, loss, and characters with rough backgrounds. The demo shows this especially through conversations with Emily, a friend of Ben who has her own troubled past. Each conversation gives you different response options that affects how characters view you and how the story plays out. Because the game does have multiple endings, the game is not going to be early access, but it's going to be released in 6 chapters, with each chapter coming out 4 months apart. The game really seems to be meant to be played carefully and thoughtfully, taking time to explore, talk to people, and piece together clues rather than rushing through. And while it's definitely a serious story, they have included some ways to manage the heavy tone through the things like pet interactions and different ways to help Ben cope with his stress. And that sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.